Hi everyone, Mr. H here. This is chapter 1.5 External Environment. In this video, we will explore the different external factors that influence a business, and we will explain how to elaborate a proper STEEPLE analysis. So let's get started. External conditions have an impact on the business. Okay, whatever happens outside around the business would somehow influence the business and how the business works. But in comparison to internal conditions, external conditions are beyond the control of the business. We cannot decide how they happen. We cannot decide when they happen or how they change or when they change. But we can decide how to adapt or how to deal successfully with these external conditions. So in order to analyze and understand and get ready for these conditions, these external conditions, we have the STEEPLE analysis, which is a planning tool that evaluates external factors. The name itself is an acronym, and it represents each of the 7 external factors we take a look at in order to understand the external environment and to get ready for it. Okay, so let's take a look at them. These factors are social, technological, economic, ethical, political, legal, and ecological. So when I make a STEEPLE analysis report, this report has to be divided into these 7 factors. Okay, these big 7 groups of factors. Okay, so we present the social, technological, economic, etc. factors of the external environment, and we explain what is positive and what is negative about each of these factors in relation to the business. Okay, so we just care about the relevant aspects of each of these 7 factors that are related to my specific business activity. This is how the report goes. So it's separated by these 7 parts, and in each of these parts, I explain what's positive and what might be negative about each of these group of factors. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about each of them. When I look at external social factors, I'm thinking about the culture, okay, aspects of the culture that would or might influence the business, traditions, lifestyle of the social group, okay, of the community. Education levels of the community would also be important, okay, in terms of prepared or professionally prepared people to work in my company, or other reasons for which I will take care about the education levels. Demographics, I mean, the number of people, the number of older, younger, or children in my community. Okay, so the age groups, the differences of genders, all of the birth rates, the death rates, all these demographic information would also be important for the specific business. Social trends in terms of preferences, in terms of fashion, in terms of tastes. We would like to know what the community prefers in order to adapt either the product or the service or the business itself to what they expect. So taking a look at the social organization, the social structure of the community is important. Then when we take a look at technological, we think about new technologies, for example. I mean, there might be some new technologies available for our business that we would like to acquire or develop to then have a better production or have better processes or become more effective. There might be some technological advancement we would like to invest on to then, stay up to date and provide the best product or the best service. Something we have to consider also here is the cost of research and the cost of development of these technological advancements or new technologies, because obviously they will affect the economy of the business. So these are also external factors we have to always be attentive to, always looking at, in order to not just compete properly, but stay updated and give the best. Then we have also economic factors, and they are ideas like, for example, the economic growth. I mean, we would like to see how the country or the region's economy is going, okay? How positive is for us, okay? How it adds to our growth. Also, unemployment or employment rates is important. Okay, inflation rates also would affect our internal economy. Uh, the exchange rate of the currency of the local currency would also affect, especially if we buy raw materials or other elements from other countries. Interest rates and tax policies would also affect in terms of like bank loans and how much of our revenue of the money that is getting into our business we will have to give back to the government as taxes. So all these aspects also have to be considered to run properly. Then we have ethical factors. This is especially about moral values. I mean, which moral considerations the community has about different aspects. I mean, if we have to care if these moral values would affect the way the business works or runs. Each community has their own business codes. I mean, codes of behavior, codes of good practices or good business practices that we have to consider. Transparency is important. I mean, and also the levels of corruption to make sure that we would be able to run smoothly in the specific region, city, or country we are planning to start operations. So these are also ethical factors to consider. When we talk about political factors, we talk about the political system. I mean, every political system has a specific view of what business is, what business does to the country, and how to deal with business activities. So we have to take a look at the specific political system in every region or country or city we plan to establish. The role of the state, based on this political system, is important. I mean, in some countries, the state interferes or have a greater control over business decisions and over prices and over how a business works. In other countries, the role of the state is less interfering. It just has some general regulations, taxes, and stuff like that, but they wouldn't interfere in your decisions. So that is important to take a look at before going to a specific country. Political stability is also important. I mean, if a country goes from one political system to another way too often, or if regulations or laws change way too often from a number of years to another number of years, from period to period, then it wouldn't be safe for a business. I mean, if the country is not that politically stable or the region is not that politically stable, then it wouldn't be really safe for a business. But if we have a country with a politically stable system, then it will be safer. Trade policies, and not just local trading policies, but also international trading policies, are important in terms of respecting all the specific procedures and regulations about importing or exporting goods or raw materials. International relations too is important if you are planning to move to another country or opening a new facility in a different country. So there are sometimes specific agreements that would make it easier for a business to go to another country or even make it hard if the procedure is longer or more difficult. So that's something also to consider. When we talk about legal factors, we're talking about laws and regulations that deal with labor. I mean, the way contracting people, hiring people happens, the way all of these labor regulations happen in a business. All the laws about health, all the laws about safety, safety expectations and regulations, all the legislation and regulations about competition, about promotion, about marketing. I mean, specific regions or countries have a specific laws that we have to study in order to provide a proper service and do your business activities respecting those laws. So they have to be studied first. And finally, we have ecological factors, and this has to do with the community's or the country's attitude towards ecology. I mean, if you're in a region that has a greater awareness, a greater ecological awareness. Okay, they would expect your business to also be eco-friendly or to follow a specific environmental regulation. So you have to take care of that. There might be some rules about waste management in different regions or countries. Levels of pollution will also influence the way your business works. Climate change will also be a factor. And again, if that region or that country or that city has a high awareness towards the environment, they would care about your carbon footprint. So you would have to make some changes or maybe just keep doing what you're doing and show that you are respecting the ecology as they expect. Okay, so these are the 7 factors of the STEEPLE analysis. These are the 7 external factors we have to consider. These are some examples of elements of each of these factors, or aspects of each of these factors that you have to think about when you analyze a region, a country, or a city where your business is located, or where you plan to move your business, or where you plan to open a new facility. So before you move to another area, or before you open an actual business in a specific area, you better take a look at each of these conditions to make sure that you're doing it right. Okay? Or you won't have any setbacks when you start activities. Now, the STEEPLE analysis has evolved over time. Now we look at these 7 factors. Before the STEEPLE analysis, there was the PESO analysis. It was the same. It had all these factors, but only 6 of the 7. Ecological was not part of the list, so people just take a look at the other 6, but ecological factors were not considered years ago. And even before that, there was the pest analysis that only looked at at political, economic, social, and technological, and didn't consider ethical, legal, and of course ecological too. So this is an interesting way to see how business has evolved throughout the years. Okay, as people has become more conscious about proper legislation that respect labor rights and people rights, as we have started caring more about ethical and moral values, and we have started to care about the environment and the world, our ways to look at the environment has evolved too, has changed. And this is how the PES became PESO, and then the PESO became STEEPLE, because we have started to consider more aspects to make sure that we are doing the right thing, setting ethical, proper objectives, and getting profit without affecting seriously the environment, the ecology, and following expectations, culture, and rules in every area where we are set. So this is it. This is the STEEPLE analysis, and these are the 7 factors of the 7 external factors. Okay, the 7 factors of the external environment, and that's it for chapter 1.5. Bye bye.